In this video, we are going to see a UK reporter rattle a Republican journalist when he tries to sit there and defend Donald Trump. As usual, let's watch the video in full. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts towards the end.
Back in Washington of late, Mr. Trump has made a point of wearing his red trademark MAGA, that's Make America Great Again cap, to show that he stands by his base. An important signal, because some of the president's once faithful flock are doubting their leader, doubting his commitment to end forever wars after he said he was going to be sending a new set of missile systems to Ukraine, and doubting his commitment to open up the files on the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. I'm now joined by Senior Editor-at-Large at Breitbart News, Joel Pollack. Joel, thank you so much for joining us. So let's put this simply, is the MAGA base falling apart?
Well, they ran a poll after the successful U.S. attack on Iran's nuclear facilities that was ordered by President Trump. And among self-described Trump supporters, this is an independent poll, 6% disagreed with Trump's decision. So 94% of Trump's supporters are fully on board with his foreign policy, at least in terms of engaging in wars overseas, and 6% are not. The question of Ukraine is not really a question about whether the base supports it or not. Trump is trying to get both sides to the negotiating table, and I think people understand that. People also understand that Russia has perhaps used the prospect of peace and negotiations to become more aggressive, and this only works if both sides are committed to peace. So Trump, I think, has been pushed into a situation where he has to shore up Ukrainian defenses so that Russia doesn't try to take advantage of the negotiations that Trump wants. So I think the base have actually given Trump quite a bit of leeway.
Let me just ask you, so what you're saying is there is support for the United States involved in those strikes on the nuclear facilities in Iran, and you're saying that Ukraine is more nuanced. But let's just look at what Jack Posobiec, who's a big MAGA supporter, he cheered the initial decision that those weapons were being paused to Ukraine. That was a decision of Pete Hegseth, the US Secretary of Defense. He posted America first at that decision, and then the president overturned that decision. So there is deep unease, surely there is, in the MAGA base over military support for Ukraine.
Well, Jack's a friend of mine, and he's very vocal, and he gets a good story, often gets great scoops, and has a unique perspective. But the American people, and that includes Trump supporters, are not biased against foreign military involvement. They're biased against losing. And if Trump can produce a successful outcome of his policy in Ukraine, which is a policy of moving toward negotiations and toward peace, then I think people will be fine with whatever he has to do to get there. I do think that Trump supporters believe that he has done everything he can to pull both sides to the negotiating table. People understand that Russia has also been very aggressive with missile strikes, and I think people understand that Trump has no choice but to shore up Ukrainian defenses and to hope that that will bring Russia back to the table. Now, ultimately, Trump has said that he will walk away completely if Russia shows no interest, and I think people would be happy with that as well. It's not a blind loyalty to Trump, but people understand he's doing his best and that these are difficult situations.
Now, one of the issues that is causing concern amongst the MAGA base are the so-called Jeffrey Epstein files. This is obviously the late sex offender, and during the election campaign, Donald Trump did rather give the impression that he wanted absolutely everything out there. That has now not happened with those files, the so-called client list. There were suggestions that he hadn't committed suicide. That's not going to happen. It's now been decided that he had indeed taken his own life. And there are real concerns about this. I'm thinking of Marjorie Taylor Greene, a well-known Trump supporter in the House of Representatives. She's not happy about this. And this evening, there's suggestions that Dan Bongino, who's the Deputy Director of the FBI, who did campaign for openness around Epstein, suggestions he may well have resigned. He's changed his position, but it looks like he's not happy with the way that this has been handled by the Attorney General, Pam Bondi. So another area of real concern amongst that base.
Not really. It's a drama playing out in the media, but it doesn't really affect Trump's support. People didn't vote for Trump because of Jeffrey Epstein. The possibility exists.
Are you saying that the Deputy Director of the FBI, who's a well-known Trump supporter, big podcaster, you're saying that we definitely know he's upset? There was a big row in the White House, suggestions he might have resigned. Is that just a media
What do you definitely know? Well, what do you definitely know? I mean, you're saying all this. You don't even know what's in the files or what's not in the files.
No, I'm not
What
talking
Dan
about the
Bongino
files.
said,
I'm talking about the Deputy Director of the FBI not being happy. That's reported very authoritatively by Axios News, that he's not happy.
Axios is not an authoritative source on anything. Dan Bongino did say before he became Deputy Director of the FBI that he was convinced there was a client list and all of that. Then he was actually in the position to know, and he came out, not just recently, several weeks ago, and said, I've seen all the evidence that there is, and I'm convinced that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. That is actually transparency. I mean, you're assuming that transparency would require releasing all of this information, which was always speculative. And what Bongino said several weeks ago was that I've now seen all the information, and there's nothing more to the story. Now, people can believe that that's a cover-up if they want to, but it is possible that transparency simply means revealing that there's nothing left to the story. And that actually has been my assumption for quite some time. I think Jeffrey Epstein killed himself because he was being dragged back into prison for sex crimes that, however terrible, he had already had a plea bargain to deal with and thought he had put behind him. He then understood that because of politics, he was never going to get out of jail again. And I think he killed himself for that reason. That was my belief at the time. It remains my belief today. But that's my own speculation.
Great. Joel Pollak, thank you so much for joining us from Washington.
So you saw halfway through that interview, you saw him get visibly frustrated and rattled. You heard him, well, what exactly do you know? And the question he was asking, he actually heard the reporter wrong because the frustration started to come through. Now, look, let's just be 100% honest and transparent when it comes to the cracks that we're seeing within MAGA. Look, I don't know when MAGA are going to learn and understand that Donald Trump can't be trusted. He can't. Multiple things that he ran on, he's contradicted himself. Okay? He's contradicted himself. Now, look, for me, it's crazy that it just looks to me like a lot of MAGA are now drawing the line at child trafficking. I'm not going to say the other word, because we're on YouTube, but child trafficking. That's where they've chosen to draw the line, as opposed to all of the lies and whatnot that he's, committed in the past. But we know that Donald Trump is someone who always backtracks on things. Now, look, Donald Trump ran on this campaign. He spoke in interviews saying that he would release the Epstein files. He said that's what he will do. And now that the time has actually come to deliver on that promise, he's now calling people boring. He's now saying it's only bad people that don't want to move on from the Epstein files. Donald Trump is doing this. This is what he's saying to his base. This is what he's saying to people. He's telling them to move on. And that is the reason as to why you're seeing cracks in the MAGA base. And I'm all here for it. I'm all here for it because I think MAGA, unfortunately, is a stain on mankind. I genuinely do. Because I just think they're a group of bad people that just want to see bad things. Genuinely, that's exactly what it is that I believe. Now, look, don't take this reporter's word for it. Go on Twitter, go on the internet, and take a look, and you can see. I've literally seen multiple times this week people turn around and say, I'm no longer a Republican. I'm no longer MAGA. I support Donald Trump, but I draw the line at child trafficking. You're seeing that because there's major cracks that are taking place. And I'm sorry, I don't know for sure, so I'm not going to sit here and say it's the case, but there's very, very high speculation that Donald Trump is on that list. And there's a lot of reason as to why people should believe that he is, because this is someone who has been filmed multiple times with Jeffrey Epstein, pictured multiple times with Jeffrey Epstein. I believe there's even videos out there of Donald Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell as well. So this is 100% something that Donald Trump isn't taking serious, and I feel like a lot of his base are only now starting to realize and understand it. Now, when it comes to sending weapons to Ukraine, once again, I personally believe that he should continue to do that, but I'm just talking from a standpoint of Donald Trump lying to people. Now, it contradicts his America First message, and it's true. It's true. it does contradict it, even though I think it's a good thing what he's doing. But a lot of his base, he told them that America first is something they're going to focus on, and he's not going to have them involved in any more wars outside of America. And you've already seen what he's done with Iran, being involved in Israel, and obviously helping between Ukraine and Russia as well. And this is the most important thing. There's notable figures that are out there that are against Donald Trump when it comes to this. Steve Bannon spoke out about Donald Trump and the Epstein files. Tucker Carlson, we've seen he's been going on a whole media tour speaking about it and not holding back. Laura Loomer as well, even though she's a bit of a whack job in my opinion, but she has been going about it as well. Marjorie Taylor Greene also sending weapons to Ukraine. Marjorie Taylor Greene's been opposed to it. Steve Bannon and even Thomas Massey as well. And you've seen that Donald Trump has been going after him. So this isn't anything new. But MAGA, unfortunately, don't listen. They don't listen. They don't pay attention. And then what happens is turn around and a situation like this occurs. And now this is the straw that broke the camel's back when it comes to MAGA. Honestly, the worst of the worst in my personal opinion. But let me know your guys' thoughts on this clip, on this video, this Republican journalist literally falling apart and getting a bit frustrated and annoyed when asked certain questions and pressed by this British reporter. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. And while you guys are down there, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Also, give the video a thumbs up. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys in the next one.